Hello my friends and welcome to Probing Paul. This is episode number 102 and this is my monthly Q&A where I occasionally also open packages that are sent in a segment called Mail Time. This is one of those occasions. I got a couple packages sent over today. And while I do enjoy my monthly probings, it is said that turnabout is fair play. So I will be not just the probee as I focus on some responses from last month where I talked about cloud gaming because I was very interested in your feedback on that. And oh boy, did you guys deliver.
Excellent!
Today's video is brought to you by the Paul's Hardware store on paulshardware.net, the only official source for Paul's Hardware merchandise, tantalizing t-shirts, brilliant beer sets, high-quality hoodies, and more, all featuring the classic thumbscrew for tasteful and refined viewers, or the 8-bit thumbscrew for tasteful and refined viewers who hate curves. New designs are added sporadically and at random, so head over to paulshardware.net and get some of that sweet, sweet merch right now. Or not right now, after you watch the video. Either way. Of course, no episode of Probing Paul will be complete without a nod towards history. Here's a look at past Probing Pauls. There's playlists if you want to check them out, because I've answered many questions in these 100+ episodes, and there you can see the hole goes quite deep. But also related to last month's episode was the main question, which is about cloud gaming. Should we all just give up on having personal PCs, focus on cloud gaming using thin and light client devices like something like a MacBook Neo or a similar device? So the question I wanted to answer this month is, what do you guys actually think of that cloud gaming proposition? And Mr. 702S pretty much summed up the responses, which was hell no, cloud gaming can suck it. And this response was by no means unique. It seemed to be pretty universal with a few exceptions that at least my audience really isn't interested in the cloud gaming experience. People very much appreciate owning their own PCs, and if you watch my channel, there's a good chance that you appreciate the process of building your own PC and choosing your own parts and having the ability to modify it and upgrade it and fix it if necessary as well. So I wanted to follow up on that in this month's episode with 3 main points. The first one is just pride, a sense of overall joy, warm fuzzies for you guys, because at least in our little niche of the internet, you guys seem to be on the same page in that ownership of your own stuff is important to you, and you don't want to be forced to rent something or pay for a service that is reliant upon Amazon web servers being up if you wanted to play a game. You don't want to have to worry about how that service might change in the future, if the prices might go up or the quality might go down. We've seen way too much enshittification of way too many services over the past couple decades in particular, and that's one of those things that will only keep happening if people accept it and continue to pay for those services. So it does make me happy that our community has the right perspective on that, and I would encourage you guys, as you have discussions with friends, neighbors, and relatives, to continue advocating for personal ownership of things, not just PCs, but stuff in general, and to discourage things that require a monthly fee, such as cloud-based gaming services. 2 other quick follow-ups on this subject. One from Swedehog, who said, awesome video, I think my 13600K, 64 gigs of DDR4 and 3070 will last for quite a while for me, especially since I play only single-player games. I really would like to build a new one just for the fun, of course, but that's not possible at these prices. This is just a reminder that if you have a functional system that's up and running right now, continue to use it rather than buying in at the exorbitant prices on the market right now, especially for memory and SSDs. More people buying at those prices will encourage the prices to stay high and will discourage people who don't have as much money from buying those parts. And what we really need is a lot of these prices to come down to make PC building accessible, or at least more accessible, once again, as a much better alternative to cloud-based services. Finally, XMortis4404 said, you forgot good old games in your answer for older games. This one was totally my bad. I should have brought up good old games last month, but if you're not familiar with good old games, they are good older games. They also have a non-DRM policy, so you can download the games. That allows you to run them locally without having to have an internet connection, and this goes hand in hand with also what I was talking about last month, such as using emulators to play older games that you might have a great fondness for that you want to rediscover, or of course just taking a look at games that might have come out 5 or 10 years ago that are still excellent games that you can run without needing a really high-end PC. But yes, Good Old Games I'm very positive on, and definitely patronize their site if you would like some good old games. Next question is from Thurgosh OG. This one's a little tougher. Paul, are tech channels like yours feeling a loss of viewers because of the pricing issues? Short answer, yes. I've definitely noticed a bit of a downtick in views, especially for certain kind of content that used to be more popular, PC building stuff. Stuff that's focused on benchmarking even, doesn't seem to be gaining quite as many views as it used to, with the possible exception of shorts, but shorts just get fed to people based on the algorithm. So if you have a video that has like a good retention and that people are watching most of, then YouTube or TikTok or Instagram will feed that video to more people. So it's harder, I think, to gauge viewership viewer interest based on like view counts on shorts and TikTok, simply because a video can kind of take off and it might not have a whole lot to do with like what people are actually interested in watching. It's just what the algorithm decided to feed people. But anyway, as you can see, I follow a lot of other tech creators who are out there, and I definitely have sort of a ballpark idea in my head of typical view counts that a creator might get. For instance, Gamers Nexus, they often get a few 100,000 views plus per video, so 67,000 views in something over a day shows that there's maybe less interest in a ATI HD 4870X2 prototype teardown. Probably interesting to some of the core viewers, but maybe not as interesting to people who are like, I can't buy that or use that right now practically. Greg Salazar has been keeping up his Fix or Flop series, which is where he takes existing systems and fixes them. And I think that's because these videos are very suitable for the times right now. A lot of people are like, I don't want my old PC to die because then I'll be forced to buy a new one or figure something else out. So keeping systems up and running by troubleshooting and fixing them is very good content. That seems to still have a lot of interest behind it. And that is something that I've been keeping in mind as I continue to make videos in 2026, is how I might veer a little bit to one side or the other in order to make stuff that people are actually interested in right now, because videos on extremely high-end graphics cards or videos that are very focused on building a PC right now, I think a lot of people are like, I'm not about to build a PC and I can't afford a $4,000 graphics card, so why would I watch that? Speaking from personal experience, since I've been making tech videos on YouTube for like 15 to 20 years now, I have seen my fair share of ebbs and flows in terms of views. Sometimes I can look at my own performance and be like, clearly my views are down because I haven't been making as many videos because maybe I've been dealing with some personal stuff or that kind of thing. But industry trends or random shifts in the YouTube algorithm that can't be explained aside, the one thing I always fall back on is that there seems to be a fair amount of people who do like to watch my videos from time to time, but there also seems to be a core audience who seems to just like watching my videos regardless of the topic, regardless of what's going on in the industry. So that's sort of my cozy, warm place that I retreat to when things are maybe not performing quite as well, is that there does seem to be a good amount of people who like to watch my videos no matter what. I've gotten comments from time to time that say, Paul, you've mentioned that making videos has been a bit of a struggle lately, but I'll watch whatever you put up, even if you're like just building a sandcastle or tending your garden or something like that. Thank you guys to those of you guys who do come back and watch my videos, even if it's a bit more of a random subject. And in recent years, I've been trying to focus as much as I can on what I call baseless optimism, which is that even if things seem pretty crappy and terrible, trying to be optimistic despite all that, because I am nothing if not a contrary person. But to sum up my response, yes, views are down a little bit, but still hanging in there, still doing okay. Next up from Daniel Griffin 8788, we have an actual tech question about a PC build. Hooray! And it's also about upgrading a slightly older system, which is a great thing to do right now if you can do it right and try to get the best bang for Daniel Griffin's bucks. They're currently using a GTX 1050 Ti, a Ryzen 5 1600, and 32 gigabytes of DDR4 2133 RAM. You have two major assets here. One is the RAM kit, because RAM is crazy expensive right now. Using your existing 32 gig kit is definitely going to be the way to go. And then the second asset, you didn't mention your motherboard, but you do seem to have an AM4 platform that has a ton of upgradability, especially if you're starting out from a Ryzen 5 1600. When does this launch? 2017. Close to a 10-year-old CPU at this point. But if you upgrade your motherboard's BIOS, you should have compatibility with Zen 3 based AM4 CPUs, and there are actually some pretty good options there. The best CPU in terms of gaming that you could upgrade to would be the 5800X3D. That's been really hard to find. It seems like GameStop has had them, or maybe has had them for about $200. I don't know. This is like the golden unicorn for your platform, so if you can get a 5800X3D for less than $200, I would say jump on that. There's also the 5700X3D, the 5500X3D, and the 5600X3D. And while I hate going on the AliExpress website because it feels like some marketing team just vomited everywhere, you can apparently get a 5500X3D for less than $200 over there. And make sure you're buying from a seller who has price protection from AliExpress. If you just wanted to buy something straight up from like a retailer that actually has something in stock, the 5600 is probably going to be your best bet for around 150 bucks. 5600X is also out there for about 175. I believe that one still comes with a cooler, yes? Yeah, that one still comes with a Wraith Stealth cooler, even though it's an X SKU processor. So keep your memory. upgrade your CPU, and then upgrade your graphics card. The cool thing about starting with a GTX 1050 Ti is it's a 4 gig video card. This one's about a decade old. It came out in October 2016. The Tech Power Up website has a great relative performance indicator here. This is ballpark performance. Performance can vary depending on the game and resolution and other variables, but I would point you toward an Intel Arc B570 or B580 if you're looking to buy something new. It's going to give you a nice VRAM upgrade to 10 or 12 gigs. And look at the relative performance versus the 1050 Ti. We're going to from 100% to 363%. Such a huge improvement by going for a GPU that is much more recent than the 1050 Ti. But also there's other graphics cards you can see sprinkled about in this range. Some of them are slightly older and you would have to look at a used market or a third-party marketplace seller. But for around $250-ish for a B570 or B580, that's where I'd point you to, or something in this range that you can get for a similar price. Do that, and then maybe see if your RAM will run at a faster speed. If you can get up to 2933 or 3000, maybe you can do that. It will depend a lot on the kit that you're working with, and I don't know the exact one. But that CPU and the graphics card upgrade is gonna really vastly improve the performance of your system for gaming. All right, one more question from G Sweggy. Any plans on collaboration with other YouTubers or PC influencers coming up? First of all, influencer, not my preferred term. I usually like to be called maybe a content creator, tech YouTuber, something like that. Influencer to me, just, I don't know, it has kind of a dirty connotation. It's one of those terms that came around with like Instagram people who are all about flashy style and not much about substance. But hey, speaking of a lack of substance, I don't have a very good response to your question. I do have at least one collaboration coming up that's gonna be happening at Computex. That's with my good friend Kyle, AKA Bitwits. He's been doing lots of live streams lately because he's got this live stream setup where he can go around anywhere. He's planning on doing that in Taiwan, and he has recruited me to hang out with him for at least like half a day, similar to what we did at CES when we wandered the show floor for like 6 or 8 hours or something like that, which was a lot of fun. But that's probably the next potential time when I might do some, quick kind of ad hoc collaborations at Computex. That's the reason I really love going to Computex, is because it's when a lot of like my friends are there. Often friends who also do tech media or YouTube stuff who I only maybe see once or twice a year at CES and Computex typically. Okay guys, it is now time for the second part of this video, which is mail time. Hooray, I just got 2 things to open that have been sent over. If you'd like to send me something to open up on mail time, send it to my PO Box, PO Box 4325. It's on the screen right now. Or apparently you could also send something to Joe's PO Box, because that was actually where this was sent to. And I already know where this comes from. It is from Jay the Caffeinator. Jay is such a regular contributor on the channel that I feel like I often miss his comments. I try to catch them all and at least give him a little heart. But the second thing I was gonna say is that Jay's name is very appropriate being Jay the Caffeinator, because I thought Jay would definitely be sending coffee. Jay sends coffee to Joe all the time, and we've also gotten some Jay coffee, but this appears to be something different. Maybe, why does it come with what appears to be nitrile gloves? Jay, I'm confused. Perhaps this letter that you included will help. Dear Paul, I have finally been able to get this gift out to you. I apologize for the lateness. There's one for you and one for Joe. These are sections from one of the arresting gear wires on board the USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN 78. What? Oh my gosh. Whoa, okay. That is a serious cable right there. And as you can see, it's been cut. So that's like a cross section of it. And it's being held together by one of those guys, and it's got a little tag, so I know what it is. This is the wire that US Navy jets try to hook to land on an aircraft carrier. Oh my gosh, it's longer on the aircraft carrier. They don't have to hook just that little section. Whenever I see those videos, the cable seems much thinner than this. It's very fascinating to see it up close. This particular wire was being discarded. I was able to get some pieces of it, so I thought you guys might like it as a knick-knack. The wire is impregnated with grease, which I cleaned as much as I could of it, but the nitrile gloves are included in case you need them. This is really why I should read the letters that are included with these deliveries before I start touching things. Because yes, it's still got some of that grease on it, but that's okay. I don't mind a little grease on my hands. But hey, these nitrile gloves are like textured. They're ribbed for your pleasure. That's cool. Wow, so this very much seems to be one of the coolest and most unique things that I think I've been sent on mail time, and Classy J sent 2 over so that we can hand one to Joe as well. They're very heavy since these appear to be steel. As far as I can tell, it's steel wire, but I couldn't be 100% sure of that. But yeah, this is gonna stay on the set, And only people who watch this episode of Probing Paul are gonna know exactly what those are. Thank you so much, Jay. And we'll get a paper towel. Okay, hands are clean, and now we have one more package. This appears to be an Amazon delivery, so I'm not totally sure who sent it. Inside we have, ooh, oh, ho, ho. All right, this has a gift note from Will Michaelis. Paul, thank you for years of solid info and entertainment. Best of luck with your Lego channel. Ah, hell yeah. This is my first ever Lego Transformers set. It's Bumblebee. Look at that. He can transform from Bumblebee down into the Bug. That's greatly appreciated. Also, a little known fact, the first car I ever had when I was in high school was a Volkswagen Bug, so that's very appropriate as well. This is from the Lego Icons lineup. It is 950 pieces, set number 10338. And if you haven't been watching tech news for the past few weeks, I do have a Lego channel. I actually started it last year, but just recently in the past month or so, have actually been posting some content there. So if you guys haven't checked it out, I'll post that link in the video description. So if you're into Lego builds and stuff, check it out. It's been a lot of fun. Done a few videos over there with my daughter Hannah, and we will definitely be adding this one to the collection. But that is all the time I have for Probing Paul for today. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer next time, leave them in the comment section down below. And of course, if you'd like to send me anything for mail time, you can totally do that too. I was not making the channel with the expectation that people would start sending me Lego sets, but I definitely will not say no, because as Jay showed today, you can also send over just something random and unique where I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Also down in the description though is a link to my store at paulshardware.net where we have shirts and mugs and pint glasses if you'd like to help support the channel that way. Thank you guys one more time for watching. We'll see you all in the next video.